The future of education in New York State may include fewer Regents exams, but more projects and presentations. All learned today after a highly anticipated report was released. Here's 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning.
For many high schoolers across New York, a pencil and Scantron are the two things that stand between them, summer vacation, and ultimately graduation. Because centered around a high school diploma are Regents exams.
We all know lots and lots of folks who are geniuses, but then when they go to take a test, it doesn't show up on the test.
New York State is looking to make graduation requirements more flexible, which could mean reconsidering the number of Regents high school students take and providing other forms of assessments like presentations and projects. Just one of the recommendations outlined in the State Education Department's Blue Ribbon Commission, released Monday morning. It was formed in 2019 to rethink graduation requirements.
The standards are the list of things that students need to know and be able to do. The way you measure those standards doesn't have to look the same for everybody, as long as people are measuring up to the standards.
Other recommendations include making the switch from 3 diplomas to 1. The commission says it would simplify the current system, which includes 3 diploma options: local, Regents, and advanced Regents diplomas.
A New York State diploma with a variety of seals and endorsements that you could go after, depending on what you choose for your pathway.
The New York State Teachers Union responded to the recommendations Monday morning, writing they, quote, recognize what educators know so well, that each of our students is a unique learner with talents, skills, and aspirations that should be fully explored and nurtured on their way to graduation. These recommendations are not final. The Board of Regents will spend a few months going over them before making any decisions, which may take several years to implement. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.